as close as possible. Thank you, Kim. Everyone, welcome. I'm so excited this morning because I have a very, very, very special guest who's near and dear to my heart. You guys, we're going to hear from Sabrina Brown. She's the 2022 inaugural Fair Housing Champion Award winner. She's the national liaison for the Central Region of the National Women's Council of Realtors, broker owner, right, of Brown & Brown Real Estate. She's from Fresno. I'm excited to hear more about that. But fun fact about her, she loves the color pink and Jeeps too, apparently. I love it. But you guys might have seen her speak at the CAR Reimagine Expo just recently, or Woman Up. But without any further ado, welcome Sabrina Brown. Good morning, you guys. Yay.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Yes, we're all good. So Sabrina, why don't you kick us off? Tell us a little bit, what's your relationship with real estate?
I have a love relationship with real estate. I absolutely love what I get to do every day. I love the process. I love the people. And, you know, I really feel like real estate gives you the ability to make a difference in so many people's lives, right? Even your own life. And so when I say I love it. Are there like bad days in real estate? Absolutely. But the good days always outweigh the bad days, because every day that I get to give someone a key to their new home, or a key to their investment property, or a key to their new business, I've made a difference, not only for them, but my community. So love real estate.
I love that. And it's definitely a balance, right? We love certain days, certain things, you know, it's something else to get to. But I think the important part is that your heart definitely radiates and fuels that care and compassion for your clients. Yeah. And clearly that resonates for them. So talk to me a little bit about, you're known for running a wonderful referral business and building your clients that way. Talk to us a little bit about that. How did you find that niche? What does that mean for your clients?
You know, how I found it, it was by accident. And so what it means for my clients is exceptional service, which, you know, everyone deserves, right? And so when I first got into real estate, you know, I was just kind of there. I was just like, I didn't know what to do. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't know what to do. I got into I quit. I'll give you a little backstory. So I worked for a hospital. I've been there for several years. And then I decided, oh, I'm going to go into real estate so I could take care of my parents, help my mom take care of my dad. And so I quit my job where I was paid very well, and thinking that I was going to go into real estate, 2006, by the way, go into real estate and make all this extra money, and and be able to help my mom. And I think that first month when I didn't have a check coming in, that hit me like, what in the heck did I just do? And then I just figured out quickly I needed to hustle and go out there and meet people and you know, try to build a name for myself, but still not knowing how to do that or what that all entailed. I had my first sale, and from that first sale, you know, I took extra care with them. You know, I just wanted to give them the best experience that they could have. And when I did that, probably maybe 2 weeks later, they called me with a referral. And I was like, oh, that's how you do this. That's what it's about. And so I figured out I didn't have to go and knock on so many doors if I provided exceptional service, because people would knock on my doors. And I think early on, I realized that. And so from the start of my career in real estate, it was all about delivering exceptional service. And that meant that I educated myself on what was going on in the market, that I went to trainings, that I got designations, that I did all these extra things so I could provide the service that my clients wanted and deserved. And by doing that, it has really increased, it increased my business from those buyers and sellers And then it just kind of spilled over to agents and having relationships with agents, no matter where they were in the country and even in my own backyard, because I'm just going to tell you, some clients you don't want to work with.
Mm.
And so to have someone that you can refer them to is always nice. That's the beauty of this business. Not everybody has to work with us, and we don't have to work with everybody. There's somebody for everybody. So having the relationship with different agents and know how they work, you can pair people up together. And the other thing is, like, what if that agent decides, oh, I'm going to move out of state. I'm going to retire. If you have that relationship with that agent, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get referrals from that agent as well. So early on, I learned that relationships matter and service matters.
Those are two very important things. I mean, that's the power and the freedom of real estate, is that we're the CEOs of our own business, and we can decide what that experience looks like, the types of clients that we help, and or refer, and to build those businesses. But that's building a legacy, because it's something that's continuous over and over and over again. When you don't think about that one client, but you think about the years that you're going to help them, and the years they're going to help their children and their grandchildren, right? As I'm sure you're starting to get business like that. I'm sure people and clients and family, the years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have one client, I love them to death. I've gotten several referrals from them within the last 2 years. And so to me, I mean, that speaks volumes. They like and trust me. And I always feel like when you get a referral, that is 9 times out of 10, that deal is going to close. Whereas if you're getting a cold lead, they don't have that warm and fuzzy about you yet. Right. And so you have to work a little bit harder on that one, or there's other agents in play because they're feeling their way around to see who they really want to work with. But when you get a referral, they know that, you know what, well, my friend or my family has referred me to you. So obviously they like and trust you. So I'm going to like and trust you. So it just gives you that little bit of an edge. And so for me, I just, because I am running a brokerage, I am volunteering. I don't do anything but referrals. And I got a referral yesterday. I was sitting having coffee with an agent, and then my phone rang, and I was like, I don't know that number. I'm not going to answer. And she goes, well, we're realtors, answer your phone. So I'm glad I answered, because it's for a listing that's in Fresno from an agent that's in Southern California. So answer your phone. That was my point.
Yeah, that's another good tip, right? Always answer your phone. I know it's bad about that. You go, I don't recognize it, or I don't have the number saved. And it could be money calling, right? Or
yeah.
someone that really needs your help. I know it's hard for us to always keep that in check, I think sometimes.
Yeah.
So speaking of balancing it all and maybe answering or not answering calls, I mean, you not only run a brokerage, you're a broker, but you are a major advocate for fair housing, and of course, generously donate your time to organizations like the Women's Council of Realtors, CAR, NAR, etc. Talk to me a little bit about how you juggle that all.
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think I juggle it. I just I just do it. Highly calendared, I think that's important. At the end of the year, I always schedule in my meetings. I know I'm going to have CAR, NAR, Women's Council, any extra activities that I want to do for the year, I put them all on my calendar. Now, this may be bad, but I put them all on my calendar so I can see when I can go on vacation. Because, at the end of the day, we all have to have that downtime too. So really just being highly calendared, making sure that all the important things are on the calendar. Even my days off are calendared. This morning, of course, I checked my calendar, like, oh, I can do it. So absolutely appreciate being asked to be here, and, happy to share, any little nuggets that I have, and hopefully it'll help somebody today.
I love that. Thanks. So doing it all, why do you do it all? Why Women's Council? Why fight for, equitable housing? Why share with us a little bit about your story and your background of why you're stepping up in leadership in this capacity?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So why, and we'll go back to when I bought my first house. I had been renting for years and spending a lot of money on rent, probably more money on rent than, well, definitely more money in rent than my first mortgage. And the reason was because no one had that, even though my parents owned their home, we never talked about home ownership and the importance of it. And so, and then I just thought I could never own a home. I was young, I was just working, I'm just renting. I'm like, nobody would give me money for a house. And I had, the myth was I needed 20% down. And I thought, that's just not for me. And I don't know what happened where I decided, oh yeah, I'm going to go get pre-approved and see if I can get a house. And when I did, and I went through the process, luckily I had a really good realtor. And when did I buy that? Whenever I bought, we actually had paper contracts. So I'm just going to say that. And we filled the contract on the hood of the car because the market was really hot. So we had to do it right then and there. But I got in that house and I realized that it was an easy process, but I just didn't understand or know the process. And that made me think that I need to be doing this for other people, especially people in my community, because I already knew there was a housing gap because all of my friends, they were renting too, And so I'm like, this is not right. We should be owning homes. We should have properties. And that was kind of my first spark of this is what I want to do, because it made a difference for me financially as well. Like all of a sudden I had all these people coming out of the woodworks to give me credit. I was able to help my son get through school by pulling out some equity from the house, and so all these things that afforded me to do, I knew I wanted to make sure that other people knew the benefits of home ownership and that I could actually give them that information and help them on that path. So, okay, I get it all out.
Before you go into Women's Council real quick, because that was 2 questions. I melded
Yeah.
it in one. That was wrong. Come on, because I want to come on, Halley, wake up. Anyways, so how can we as realtors lead a business that helps foster equitable housing and bringing more opportunities for people in the community that aren't given the same treatment and or opportunity right now in the housing industry?
One is to get involved with your city. Every city has housing affordability or help to get people into homes that are in like underserved areas. So one, start there and figure out what programs are available. Also, CAR has a website that you can go to find out what loan programs are available in your area. That way, well, not loan programs, but down payment assistance, down payment assistance that is available in your area. And then you can market those to the community and people will come. We do a lot of home buyer workshops and it's basically education for the community, anybody that wants to come. Before the pandemic, we would have about 50 or 60 people that would come through those on a monthly basis. Wow. And out of those, we would have 2 to 3 people that actually were in the position to buy, and the rest went in our pipeline to help them get to where they needed to be to buy. So providing the education for people in the community is one way to start. And it doesn't, and when I say underserved, it's just people that are not given the information. So we are the givers of information. We are the teachers. We are the mentors. And so we just need to put ourselves out there so people know they can come to us and ask their questions. Mm-hmm. It's not about the person that calls you and says, I want to buy a house or, paying for leads or those things. Be a benefit to the people in your community and the community will rally around you and you won't have to look for business.
That was beautifully said. And, you know, Kim, maybe we can find that website and drop it in the chat, or we'll put it in the KW shares afterwards, because I think that would be very helpful. And, you know, one of the things, just even having you talk about this and bringing it to the conversation, to the industry, I think is so powerful, that it should be on the forefront of our conversations of bringing that education to communities that may not have ready accessible information. I think that's so important. So you know, thank you for fighting this, and let's all, you know, work hard to do our part to be able to, you know, lead better businesses and be better people. We're all humans, right? I mean, we just need to be better people, I think, if we kind of take a step back. So into the next question that I tried to so eloquently put into one: why Women's Council? Why Women's Council? For years, you've stepped up and led this community. Why this organization? Why has this spoken to you?
Why? Because it actually accepted me. Let's put it that way. Women's Council was a place that I was able to go into and feel like I belonged. And so when it came to Fresno, that was in 2000, I believe it came to Fresno in 2013. They were starting a network here. And I said, oh, women in real estate, I should join this. And I did. And for the first year, I did absolutely nothing because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. So I just joined and didn't really participate. And then one of the president at the time, she said, Sabrina, what do you want to do? And I said, I really want to get more involved. And she said, okay. So a couple of months later, she goes, you want to get involved. So how about president-elect for the following year? And I said, yeah, sure. Why not? Still not understanding what I said yes to. And then I funded myself and I went to my first national meeting. It happened to be in San Diego. And I went by myself. I didn't know anybody. And I met some phenomenal women there, and they all just embraced me. And, you know, I had dinner with them. I went on boat rides with them. They introduced me to other women. And so I really felt like I was included. And it was that first experience, that first impression that hooked me. And I've been hooked ever since. So, and now I'm here.
And now, like 9 years later now, here you are now the president of the California group of the Women's Council of Realtors. So I think that's amazing, and look forward to serving, of course, under you in next year as your district vice president. District 3, a lot of you guys were at the installation. So many of you guys saw. That's exciting. So let's shift gears just a little bit and let's talk about the hot button issue of the market, right? I know. I love your face. I love everyone's face, but let's talk about it. What do you see happening in the market right now? As a perspective of a realtor, what are you telling your clients when they're asking, how's the market? How can we address these things?
And it's funny because everybody's scared of the interest rates, but this is what I'm saying. So we had low interest rates. You got beat out 101 times when you put in offers. People were paying way above of what houses were worth or appraised for, and so now the interest rate's a little bit higher, but guess what? You can get in now. Get in while you can. You might have to get a little bit of less of a house because the interest rate is a little bit higher. So you're going to get less house, but you'll have a house. It's your investment, right? You don't take ownership of the house in the sense that, it's going to be your forever home. Right. And I deal with a lot of first-time home buyers. So that's my thing. Everybody wants this, like, I want the mansion to be my first home. That's not going to be your first home. Is not going to be your absolute dream home. You need to realize that. It's almost like you have to, it's an investment. And the reason I say that it's an investment, there's no way that you could save up $40, $50, $60, $100,000 in 2 years. That's really not feasible. But if you bought a home that wasn't your dream home and you waited 2 years and you sold it, you have the equity that's in that home to buy the next home, your dream home, or maybe just your next move up home. And you keep going from there, but you have to start somewhere. Don't be afraid of the interest rate. because the interest rates can change, the price of housings can change. If you can get into a home, get into a home, right? If you can afford it, get into it. Don't be scared of the interest rate. My parents bought their house, their interest rate was 18%. So 5, 6, 7% doesn't seem that scary to me.
And it probably didn't stay at 18% the whole time they owned the home, right? I think
No, it did not. So but and for agents really too, this is really about you. This time is when people really need to know that you know what you're doing. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be able to walk them through the transaction. You need to know your stuff, because that's what they're looking for right now. This is not the market where you could just stick a sign in the ground and it sells in a day. So you need to be advocates for your people, and you need to be an advocate for yourself, making sure that you educate yourself not only on your market, but what's happening in the industry as a whole. And that's how you're going to bring value to your clients, and that's why they're going to come to you. If you can't answer their questions, they're going to move on to somebody that can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about being the economist of choice, right? Making sure that we have that data to be able to have those conversations. And just like you shared, I think a big part of the market right now is just really setting expectations. And look, we were setting expectations 6 months ago. They were just different expectations, or 2 years ago, right? We still had to sit down and have that conversation of, you might have to remove appraisal contingencies. I mean, that was bonkers. What a terrible fiduciary we all were as realtors to say, well, you want this house, you have to remove your protections, right? Did you guys see that stuff up in your area in Fresno?
We did, but I'm bad. I will tell you straight up. I told so having conversations with my clients is basically, yeah, you might have to remove your contingencies, but I absolutely do not recommend that. Even if you only, give it 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is, so we could get a good look at it, so you can make a decision. And this is where relationships matter, because if you can get your, let's say, inspection contingencies, if you could get like 2 days, you got to get your inspector in there that next day. If you have good relationships with that inspector, he's going to get in there for you. So you're protecting your clients. You're still giving them a little leeway. Did it work every time? No. But guess what? I'd rather give them the option for some protection rather than to have them remove all their protection. And guess what? They appreciated that, because when somebody's spending that much money on an investment, you want to make sure that they're going to get a return on that. They're not moving into something that's going to be the money pit, because that's not providing good customer service, and they're not going to come back to you, and they're not going to refer to you. In fact, they're going to tell 10 people how horrible you were and you got them in this horrible house. So, yeah, business was a little bit slower for my buyers at that time. My sellers were happy. But then I also advised my sellers not to take any offers that didn't have contingencies.
Oh, good.
To be honest, because at the end of the day, I don't want to end up in a lawsuit because somebody did not have time to do their due diligence. You have to think about that. It's about, and it was up to the sellers, but my advice to them is, I want to keep you out of court. I don't want somebody trying to unwind this deal because they felt like they didn't have everything they needed to make an informed decision. You're still going to get your money, right? You're still going to get it. And you don't have to, you could give people time to do their due diligence so we can do it the right way. And I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, the sellers gave them time to do their inspections.
Good.
So.
And again, I think it's about expressing that to your clients, right? That is part of your job as a realtor. And that's part of all of our jobs. It's not just to help people get in the property, but to do so in the right terms. I think that's really important, right?
It needs to be sustainable, right? You don't want to get someone in a house that they can't maintain or they can't keep, or that they end up losing because you didn't do, or you did not advise them on the ramifications of what they were putting on their contract. Agent, know thy contract.
No, I know. Sabrina, you'd be really proud. Our agents in our office, we have a RPA practice class. So all of them can handwrite an RPA and with almost no mistakes in under 15 minutes or less. So yeah.
Awesome.
They work very hard. I know they work very hard. But yes, it's so important. Know they contract. It's like we really only use a couple of contracts in our industry. Why not memorize them? Why not really know them like the back of your hand so that you can properly represent your client?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's important.
Absolutely.
So there's quite a few, actually, I've been seeing as people are hop on, quite a few newer agents, people who maybe just start in the industry in their first year of business. What tips do you have for them? Things maybe that you learned that you'd like to share, knowledge?
Honestly, really educate yourself and build strong relationships with your team. And your team is your lender, your escrow officer, your inspectors. Build those relationships with those people because they are an extension of you. And they can make you look good or they can make you look bad. So take the time to really know the people that you're doing business with. And then any client that you have, you give them exceptional service. And really, like I said, I can't emphasize it enough. Educate yourself, know the RPA, know your listing agreement. Make sure that you know it backwards and forwards because the listing agreement and the RPA, those represent you as an agent. Are you a sloppy agent or are you an agent that knows what you're doing? Because when the listing, if you're writing an offer and you send it to the listing agent and the listing agent is seasoned and they know that contract backwards and forwards, and you're missing boxes, you're missing signatures, they think you're a sloppy agent. I'll just be honest about that. They do. And so when they look at that and they get another offer and it's similar, not that they can pick the offers, but they can point out the things that are not correct in your offer. And they're like, we have to counter this out. We need to fix this, or we could just accept this offer that's written correctly. You're gonna get the same amount of money and we can go from there. So think about that when you're as a new agent, you want to make sure that you're doing everything correctly to make sure that your offer is the offer that gets accepted.
Those are good points. And there's a lot of power and knowledge to having, the competency to fill out and to articulate those contracts,
Yep.
right? It creates a more even playing field. It's hard to say, oh, I've sold 50 houses when you haven't sold 50 houses, but you can say, look, I am a master of this contract. I do study it weekly, etc.
And it makes a difference because I mostly do listings. And when I get contracts over, I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, who's your broker? That just didn't sound right. I know that's probably bad, but I mean, but I do. And so you have to know that I know that if I'm doing that, then other listing agents that are getting offers are doing that, Yeah. And so, and I would say every file, and it's a scary thing, but every file should be ready to go to court. That means that you have all your disclosures in there. You've documented everything. You've done your due diligence. Your clients have done their due diligence, and it's all signed off for. And that's, again, a representation of who you are as an agent.
Yeah, I love that. Melody said, yes, I love it. Melody. Okay, great. We have a couple minutes left. This is called the Producers Club or Producers Mindset. Any other words of wisdom, things like that you want to share with everyone on the call?
Prospect every day, period. You will not be relevant unless you're prospecting every day. You will not make money unless you're prospecting every day. And, and prospecting, it can be done in different ways. If you're a new agent and you don't have any clients yet, that is, maybe you are making those cold calls, you are doing your open houses. Those are things that you're doing. But if you're looking for referral business, that means you're touching base with your past clients, whether that's on Facebook, social media, you're making phone calls, you're going out to have coffee with them. And one thing that I would say, if you have past clients and you have them on social media, stop them, see what's going on with them. If you see something great happening in their life, comment on it, and then send them a card, send them a letter, and congratulate them. Whatever that thing is, just to stay in front of them, because they'll remember that about you. It puts you back in front of them. It's not that you're sending them a market update. It's not that you're doing anything business wise. It's personal, and it makes a deeper connection. So make sure that you're making relevant connections every single day.
I love that. Wonderful note to leave us on. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. Round of applause for Sabrina. Thank you.
Thank
If you
you.
guys aren't involved in your local associations, CAR, NAR, now's the time to get involved. Women's Council. We have a wonderful community that's here to help support you in your businesses here. And of course, all of our offices, we're here to support you. But don't forget to start building that referral business. Sabrina is a great example of how that's helping her in her career, and that she's sharing that story with so many of you and people throughout our community. So just thank you guys. Step up to leadership. Make sure you reach out to us if you need any help. We're here to help support you and guide you through that journey. Okay. Have a good Friday, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great